Hey everyone, Brian here at Vintage Classic Specialist. Happy Thursday to everyone. Hope everyone's week is going well. It is time for another episode of Day in the Life of Vintage Classic Specialist. So today a new project came in, 67 Beetle Lotus White, and almost the original owner. I'll come back to that. Let me talk about what I worked on today, and then I'll come back to that in a little bit of detail, and then I'll probably do a separate walk around video to introduce the project later, but I will talk a little bit about this one, so just be patient, please. So another white car here today, got some love. So finished putting the front suspension together on this pup, the Pearl White 66, so 1 year earlier and a slightly different shade of white than the 67 we were just talking about. Anyway, yeah, I did make a short video on the I guess updated IMPI front beams where I talk about it. Still, it's not perfect yet, but those adjusters are much better. So look out for a short that I will be releasing on talking about that front beam and discussing it in a little bit more detail. But anyway, one thing which is annoying that I mentioned in the video is I don't know what size holes they drill and tap in these beams for the Zerk fittings, grease fittings, but we have pretty much every size available of Zerk fitting and none of them fit. I don't know what the heck size those things are, but anyway, I ended up having to run a tap through them to put in 8mm Zerk fittings, which is what a stock VW beam uses. They were definitely not that. I don't know what they were. No US sized one fit, no metric size one fit. I don't know what those guys over there are doing at IMPI. But anyway, other than that, and one other detail that I mentioned on the short about the beam, it went together fine. So yeah, went ahead and put those in, greased the front end. You know, you just pretty much keep pumping grease into each of the 4 locations where the torsion arms are until grease starts coming out between the beam and the torsion bar, and then that's pretty much when you know that they're full and sufficiently greased. So yeah, greased all 4 locations there and put her back on the ground, put the gas tank in, and that's mostly it. I mean, the car hasn't been moved yet, but so far I'm liking what I see as far as the height of the car in the front now. It's way lower than it was before. If you guys are regulars around the channel, you know this car was like Baja Bug height in the front. It was super high, and I think that was probably because of the bent front beam, which was probably binding. It was bent pretty severely on this side. I think that was probably binding and causing the whole car to just sit up and not really settle. But anyway, I kind of took my best educated guess at about where the adjusters should be, and I think I got it pretty close. We'll see. Car needs to be driven and or at least moved around a little to let the front and rear settle, and then we'll see where it's going to end up. The owner said he wanted an inch of rake in the front, so front versus back. So I'll probably aim for that and see how that looks. An inch kind of sounds like a lot, but that's what he asked for. We'll set it there and see what he thinks. But anyway, yeah, so very happy to see this car back on the ground and with a much better attitude here with the front end level or even slightly raked right now. Again, we'll see what it looks like after it settles, and then we'll do any adjustments needed on the front to get what the owner is looking for. So that was pretty much what I did on this one today. Santiago was not able to make it in today, so unfortunately the seats are still not in it. I guess once this car has some seats in it, I'm going to add some gas to it, and I think it's ready to take for a little maiden voyage, and that'll be good because that'll, you know, kind of really show us where the suspension is going to settle. I think he's coming in tomorrow. I want to go ahead and let him put these in. So yeah, hopefully on tomorrow's video you will see this car with its lovely interior all done and looking amazing. So stay tuned for that, hopefully. So this car, just briefly, yesterday the front IMPI disc brake kit came and Jacob masked everything off, did a really great job of painting the rotors, the master cylinder, the caliper brackets. I went to put it on today, and I should have known because I bought enough of these impy kits. I just wasn't thinking. They don't, well, I feel like usually they come with bearings. This didn't even come with bearings, and the instructions literally say to reuse your old bearings. There is no way in hell I'm pounding the bearing races out of the old drums and putting those and the bearings on these new rotors. That's just dumb. So anyway, I ordered new bearings for it, new inner grease seals, and new brake hoses, which the kit also doesn't come with. I mean, I guess you could reuse all that stuff if you were like really on a budget, but those things don't add up to that much money in the grand scheme of things. Anyway, so yeah, bearings, grease seals, and brake hoses coming tomorrow. So probably I will go ahead and install the master cylinder and the front brake kit tomorrow. But yeah, that's pretty much all I did on this is get ready to install it, and quickly that process ground to a halt as I realized I didn't have any bearings and a bunch of other things. So kind of a bummer, but we'll get to it tomorrow. Let's see. So orangey here. By the way, so I know that a few of you guys were curious about the color of this car, and the owner, who I believe does watch our videos, he actually texted me today and he said they have in fact decided to stay with the original orange on this car. So pretty excited about that. And I know that our viewer Rick, his favorite color is orange. So Rick, it's going to be orange. So and let me show you guys, if you haven't seen it, the correct looking orange. There it is. Whew, it is a bitchin' color. So yeah, the outside of the car obviously is very faded, but this is what it looks like. And there's the original label, Signal Orange. This was also a Porsche color. So yeah, there you go. Super bright orange. I think that I'm hoping that by the time this car is painted, we still have the car that we lovingly call the tennis ball there, the Ravana Green 74 Beetle. I want to see this Beetle and this Ghia in fresh orange paint parked next to each other. I think that those colors sitting next to each other might literally explode my little brain. So we'll see. But anyway, yeah, super fun colors here. Really glad that the owner decided to stay with the orange color because it's just a bitchin' color, and I think kind of semi-unique, at least. There's obviously other orange cars out there, but an orange Ghia, you can't go wrong with that. Anyway, so as far as what I actually did on this car today, I went ahead and pulled out. Jacob started this yesterday, but didn't quite get all the way. So I went ahead and pulled out the transmission. He had disconnected the CV joints on the outside, so I went ahead and disconnected them. Or no, I take it back. He had disconnected them on the transmission. I disconnected them on the outboard side, and then disconnected everything related to the transmission, pulled it out, pulled out those big corrugated heater hoses, pulled the shocks out. So pretty much finished getting this thing stripped down here for it to start on its paint and bodywork journey, so to speak. Let's see, transmission today. My transmission guy actually dropped by and picked it up. So yeah, we're not wasting any time here. Went ahead and got his transmission at least off to the shop that builds our transmissions, and in his queue, he's already got started on the transmission for this one. He told me today he's working on it already. So yeah, moving right along. So I think as far as the cars in the shop, that is what I worked on today. So let's talk about this guy a little bit. And again, I will do a much more in-depth walk around of this, but just to kind of let you guys know what's up with this. So this car came all the way down from San Francisco, basically. I think he said he lives like 15 miles north of San Francisco area, we'll say. So yeah, the car was transported down actually by the same company that transported this bust down. So same guys, really great service. So I think I mentioned earlier, this car is almost a single owner car. So I need to question him about this a little bit more. But he said he is not the original owner, but he bought the car in 67, and it is a 67. I looked up the VIN. The car was manufactured in January of 67. So it's kind of like middle of the 67 model year run. Anyway, so I don't know. Yeah, he bought the car when it was, I guess only a few months old, maybe, I don't know, 6 months old or so. Yeah, I don't know. I'm a little puzzled by that. He bought it when it was almost brand new. I'm pretty much in my mind thinking he's the original owner. If he had this car literally since it was a few months old, I think that counts. I don't know. What do you guys think? Can we say he's the original owner if he's had it since it was literally like a few months old? I don't know. I feel like we can say that. Anyway, I looked up the engine number, and the engine number is from late December of 66. The chassis is from early-ish January of 67. So I have zero doubt that this is a matching numbers car. And actually the owner, he did kind of verify that. He said, yeah, the motor's, I think it's been out, but it's never been rebuilt or replaced. So yeah, 100% this is a matching numbers car. The car, I think he said it got rear-ended at some point, although you can't really tell. So I'm guessing maybe the fender was replaced. I'm not sure about the apron yet. The bumper for sure has been replaced. So you guys, if you watch the channel, you know that we just finished a beautiful ruby red 67 Beetle. That Beetle was very early production of 67. So that car was like I think a August or maybe very early September, I don't remember exactly, of 66, which was, right at the beginning of 67 model year production. So that car still had the older style overriders where the center of the two rear overrider tubes were level, were horizontal. And starting after a couple months of 67 production, that's when the famous 67 only overriders come on, where the centers of these tubes kind of come down like that, more at an angle. So this car, the reason I'm bringing this up is this car should actually have the angled 67 rear overrider tubes on it, and it doesn't. Again, the owner did mention that this car was hit in the back at some point, and so I'm guessing at that point the bumper was replaced, and for whatever reason, I don't know, availability or otherwise, they didn't have one or didn't get one that had the correct, for this car, 67 overriders. So I will be trying to find a pair of those for this car because I really want to put them on there. They are correct for this car, unlike the 67 we just finished, which they're not correct for. So this one does have, though, the correct front bumper overrider. So 67 front overrider was different too, and I'm not sure when this change went into effect, but if you kind of look at this overrider on 67s, there is more of an outward bow here in the center that you can kind of see. So I will be saving this overrider here and sending it out for chrome at some point when we get to that point. So on earlier, I guess 66 and down Beetles, the top overrider kind of more just like followed the shape that you can see there of the main bumper blade. And then in 67, for whatever reason, they added this extra bow here. So this is cool, and this is correct for this car. There we go. Some light will help. But yeah, so very excited that it still has that. The back, again, we'll hunt down some that are correct for this car. As far as the condition of the car, it's got some rust here and there, a little bit on the fender there, a little bit over there, some here, which I think is probably due to the sunroof, probably the drains for that not draining well. Anyway, I'll talk about this car in some more detail, but for now, that's kind of overall what we got here. I did mention that the motor was matching 67, and motor which is a 1500 single port, pretty much stock other than the fact that it has an alternator on it. And he did at some point upgrade the oil to a doghouse style, which means that the oil cooler sits in front of the fan shroud instead of within it, and that gives you better cooling on that side of the motor. I think he said he had some issues with his number 3 exhaust valve, maybe not on this car but on another Beetle, so this one he kind of proactively changed it to doghouse style to get the better cooling over here on the 3.4 side. But anyway, yeah, very complete motor. It's got the I guess famous brackets there on the air cleaner, the 67 only air cleaner. Looks like the correct 67 distributor. So yeah, I think other than the fan shroud itself and the alternator, pretty correct, pretty complete motor here, as far as the tin and everything else is concerned. So and of course it's got the 67 only rear backup lights too. So there you guys go. This is the next project to come in, and yeah, this one is next in the queue for paint and body after this one. So we'll probably go ahead and start doing some disassembly on this car here in the not too distant future. So stay tuned for updates on it, along with all of our other cars for that matter. So that is it for today, guys. Thank you all for watching, and we will see you again tomorrow. Bye.